with Trudeau around.
Oh, yeah, that's never a good story or memory. And you wake up to it. Anyway, good afternoon, folks. Welcome to Smudcast number 475. Racist LOTR fans calling Rings of Power woke. Toxic fandoms. In case you don't know, this is from TurfNation, the guy who just keeps making videos attacking people and getting downvoted to hell. For example, the video we're watching right now came out 2-3 weeks ago. Has about 66,000 views, 10,000 downvotes, and 1.3 thousand upvotes. Now, you might not see that because you don't have the plugin for YouTube, but this is what he does. He just hits fans, he hits YouTube creators, he hits random people, and I think almost all of his videos are downvoted. I haven't seen them all, but everyone that we've covered, and we talked about this prior to the video starting, like I was going through some of them, they were all really highly downvoted, and I don't get why he's doing this. If I have multiple videos, if not most of my videos this year were downvoted, I'd be like, maybe I'm doing something wrong, maybe I'm not listening to people, maybe YouTube is, the algorithm isn't working. I'd be paying attention. I'd be listening to comments. And you can go to these comments in this guy's video, and they're all defending Tolkien. They're all saying, I'm a fan, I believe in lore, and this is what it comes down to. It's anyone who's listened to the movies, read the books,
or even played the 2 games.
Yeah, it's like the lore is very, very clear on how things should be, how people act, how characters are, how the trees are, how magic is, how the orcs are, why they are, how they are. There's all this detail in world building. It's one of the biggest stories we've got for world building in a fantasy setting. And this guy doesn't grasp that. He just sees it as, you could hire people who aren't white. There's nothing wrong with that. It's like, that's a nice sentiment. But you're missing the point of the books. You're missing the point of the show and all the games and all that. It's a very simple argument from lore. And that's all it comes down to. No one is racist for liking the lore and defending it. And
Nope.
We always talk about gatekeeping whenever it comes up, saying, yes, gatekeeping is important. That's why we have it. That's why it's here. And this is a great example of that. All right. And I think we just got Nicola Khan. Did you just pop in, sir? I think you're there. Well, I see you there. You're just not talking to me. That's okay. Anyway.
Silence is it.
Sorry. I'm at the store picking something up. I'll probably be back in like 10, 15 minutes.
Okay, no problem. Just making sure you're there and your volume's okay. All right.
Just come back or else.
Yeah. So this video is 8.5
Okay.
minutes. It won't take that long, depending on how often we have to pause. I think we broke this down into 2 videos last time. I can't remember. It was so long ago, like 4 or 5 months ago. For TurfNation was attacking the critical drinker, and it was just a horrible video. So here we go. TurfNation again. Why not?
Yeah.
People on Twitter are back at it again being racist. And for what you may ask, well, let me tell you. You know that new prequel Lord of the Rings TV show, Rings of Power? Yeah, apparently there'll be at least one person of color appearing in it. I know, right?
At least? Have he even watched the trailer? Because there are more than one.
I know, at least 2 that we know for a fact.
Yeah.
One elf, one
just
dwarf.
look at the poster. Like,
Well, I mean from the trailers.
yeah, that too.
See,
you can just look at one image if you type in Rings of Power, and that's the first thing you're gonna see.
I understand if it was a production company that can only hire certain, or they couldn't find talent and they were stuck with that. But then the onus is on the writer-creator to actually explain why there are black elves or black humans or any other racially diverse group of people in Middle-earth.
Yeah, this is Amazon. We know that they got the money not to do that.
The running theory so far is that they actually don't have enough rights to some of the original works to actually follow, and they're just making shit up.
That is the official, yeah.
Really?
They only
So-
have like
so
a
far-
few segments of like the original Lord
Yeah,
of the Rings books. Yeah.
Yeah, if it's not outright confirmed yet, then it's at the very least very heavily hinted at
Wasn't
that they have next to no rights to the original works.
wasn't this all because of a few poems that
Four.
4 poems, yeah. Like, so they have to really draw on if I had, let's say I was asked to adapt a Neil Gaiman stuff, and he gave me 4 poems, I would have to fall back on my inspiration and what I know of the rest of his universe of, I don't know, Sandman, for example. I'll say, okay, I'm not going to deviate from Sandman, even though the inspiration comes from 4 poems about this side story. Like, I wouldn't start throwing in other endless gods running around. Like, it wouldn't make sense. You just can't invent gods and say, okay, we're going to change the lore around and play around with that. But like, no. You should never, ever do that. This is a thing created only for fans. That's why we have adaptations. It's not for anyone else. And if you're going to attack the fans, or if you're going to call them this or that, the fans are going to get back at you saying, hey, buddy, no, we're not. And I'm passionate about my thing, and I have 100 reasons why I'm right and you're wrong. And why you're a weirdo, or whatever TurfNation's trying to do here. So, yeah. Anyway.
Absolutely terrifying, at least to these pathetic souls it is. But let's dive.
How is this pathetic? This is the go-to joke that everyone makes about, if you're going to start changing the races of people, why can't we change it to anything else? Well, how is this?
Yeah, why
Exactly.
is it why is it a one-way street? That's the thing.
Yeah. It seems perfectly logical. If you can do it, we can do it. No big deal.
Oh, because it is just a response to something, and it's not the original idea. That's why. Remember Veritas, Joe.
Oh,
Because
God.
it's only racist if you post it as a response that you have race swapped the character, not the other way around.
Well, I got called for being a racist because I was white, and I was like, what? That's just,
Sure.
it's like, what are you talking about? So if I'm not white, I'm not a racist? Is that how that works? I don't know.
But you gotta like make a picture of yourself and check your saturation levels. And
Oh, yeah.
That's how we decided.
It's Adobe Photoshop the hell out of my photo. And
yes,
it's big purple, blue, black photo.
dark hair. Okay. Let's see. Skin color. Not dark enough. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Anyway. Apparently
Yeah.
this is a joke to him, but it seems pretty logical to me. Anyway.
A little deeper into this. Also, I absolutely need to preface this by saying massive trigger warning. Some of
Is this guy Lava Chan? What's going on here? Is he just is he just making
A return of the icon.
Yeah, is he just randomly throwing clips in here of like, what is this? Lava or molten metal?
This was the teaser for Rings of Power. Right?
Oh, okay.
Because the rings are being forged.
Oh, really? All right, interesting.
Yeah. It's just like the CGI looks like something like a student would put together
really?
here. It doesn't really look that impressive.
Okay. I'm just
Yeah,
thinking.
from what I've seen, the show looks like a student movie.
Whoa, your volume just jumped all over the place. I could not hear you, sir.
Sorry.
Let me crank you up. There you go. Okay, we'll keep going.
these comments are just downright racist, and I know that can be hard for people to see because, well, it should be hard to see. Racism really should have no place in our society, and the fact that there are still people like this blows my mind, and it makes me realize that we really haven't gotten very far. But anyways, the official Twitter
Yeah, and he's the racist ethical guru here, telling us what is and isn't good to say. I can't call a person black or something like that, or white, or whatever the colloquial term is, because I have to call them like the hex value, maybe, or the RGB value,
The hex value.
the CMYK value. Like, what do you want me to do? What's the big deal? Why can't
So they have changed.
Yeah, but
the
no, yeah,
races-
by the hex value of their color. Yes.
So they have changed like the races for some of these very distinct and canonically like white races. Like and they are not even like humans. Like there are humans, of course, and then the elves, the dwarves, and all the other like races that we have, the hobbits. And like yes, their skin is like very white, but it has been described in the books. So like why change that?
Yeah.
Like if you make every single race multicultural, then there's no distinction, especially from the context that this work was written. It's nice that like now in the 21st century, like all the other races can like exist in the same country, no matter of like geolocation, even in like the very northern parts of Europe or America. But it hasn't always been that way, and people just can't accept that.
I wonder if the popular term would be to like say, like to name people or the color of food. I know we hear that with like people who are black or chocolate colored or vanilla colored. It's like, we call like you're a foodist. You're associating food culture with people, and you're not ascribing.
Yeah, that too. Like, are we gonna gatekeep people from that?
Yeah.
At the same time, like go ahead and do it. But if you have to represent like a race where Tolkien described them that they are so white that they're glowing in the dark, then it just doesn't add up.
Yeah. Like I don't see anything racist with Tolkien's descriptions of people in the world of Mordor. It's maybe you get some evil descriptions of the orcs, the Uruk-hai, how they came about, how evil they. But that was kind of the point, like to showcase them as this gruff, dangerous, evil spawn of.
Oh yes, like that also like strikes a conversation. Like, I think like 2 years ago, somebody mentioned that orcs are pretty much just black people.
What?
That's where Tolkien got his inspiration from. That was like dumbest shit ever.
Oh god. Like there's reasons why Tolkien did what he did. And I don't think it's from malice. I really don't think it's because of bias. If anything, he was biased by hating war because he was in it, and he wanted to share his.
He hated war and he hated the industrialization, and like we can see that when they're chopping down the ends and the forests in the
which is something a lot of these yahoos fail to mention about Tolkien.
Yeah, his background, what he did, who he wrote these for, how he was inspired, how he wrote, because to write all this down takes years and years. And I'm kind of curious how old his children were when they finally read his manuscripts as the years went by. And
I do remember that when he was writing The Hobbit, he read it to his son Christopher, and he was like still a child that like wanted his father to read him stories. So he had to be fairly young.
Yeah.
And he was still annoying his dad how many mistakes he had done because like the lore wasn't adding up. And he was like so dedicatedly following along like how it was going and like, Father, this is not adding up.
Yeah, that's awesome. The Hobbit is a much easier read, and to have a son,
way easier.
Yeah, to have your son being your QA as you go about trying to do the trilogy. It's like, oh, now this is like a beta. It's like it's a lot easier to read. It's smaller, and if you look at the trilogy, it's just a version. It's like an expanded version of The Hobbit, and a continuation, of course. So it feels like it's gone through some pacing, some editing, and then Tolkien just got more ambitious and did more. So I'm glad that it exists, even though it's not my cup of tea. I don't like big books really that much. I like short stories in general. But to have that scale and detail, and to keep, like, I remember the glossary at the end. It was like this thick part of the book of all the words and terms. That was important because I got lost sometimes. I can only imagine what Song of Ice and Fire has a glossary at the end of every book. So good on Tolkien to do that at the time of his life, let alone in general. I can't imagine anyone doing it now, outside of those big series like Shannara and Conan, which have been around for decades. So, anyway.
For the new Amazon Lord of the Rings TV show Rings of Power tweeted out a series of promo posters for the show, each showcasing a different character, but we don't know their names and we can't see their faces. There are these descriptive texts that just describe what's going on, but essentially there's enough information here that fans can start theorizing and trying to figure out who these characters are, and I think it's pretty cool. And when I say a series of posters, I mean a lot. There's a lot of them. They show people—
Just say the number, dude.
Who look like mighty elves, like beggars, like wanderers, like scholars, like kings, like evil people. And then there's one poster that depicts someone with brown skin color. And I think you know where this is going. The comments on this post—
Getting a bit of echo. Who's that? that him?
Yeah, it's him.
Wow. He added echo in his. I don't. Okay, whatever.
No, like he probably has the kind of setup that echoes his thing. It's really odd. Like how much less effort can you put into your video?
Yeah. All right. Whatever. It's fine. I thought it was like me or you. Or I'm like, what the? Anyway.
No, I have it on push to talk.
Yeah. Me too. Okay. Anyway.
Are infested with racism, and people saying that this show is already ruined, all because one poster has a person of color on it. Out of dozens of posters, it's just one person with a darker skin color, and still people are mad about it. And let me just show you some of these, because some of them are funny and some of them I just can't believe. Why are they black? There is no black people in Lord of the
Is he wrong?
Yes, in Middle Earth there isn't. The Easterners are the Easterlings. I guess that's the name, if I remember correctly. They are like more like your Middle Eastern, African-looking people. But other than that, like everyone else is like very 19th, 20th century European. There aren't that many like differences there.
Yeah, I don't think
as you can see, like I think like these movies were filmed in New Zealand as well.
Yeah, and there's like
with American and English actors.
Yeah, they have the 6 or 7 main races, and I don't recall any like dark elves or midnight elves or drows that we have in D&D. The orcs might have dark skin color, but that's just the enemy villain. Ents might be dark skin, but they're trees. I don't know. That's about it. That's just it. It's not because Tolkien was a white guy and he wrote what he knew. He just wrote it that way. I don't know why. Good for him. That's the lore. Deal with it.
Rings. Okay, this will be unwatchable. Then don't watch it, and shut up about it. There are also the people saying that the Lord of the Rings was based on medieval Anglo-Saxon culture, so black people being there ruins the realistic nature of Middle
Is he gonna bring it up that like, oh, look at these studies that we have found, like the black people have always been in Europe. Oh god! Oh no! Like Tweet is already mentioning that shit.
They could, Tolkien could have lived in South Africa and written this book, so it wouldn't make a difference.
No, it wouldn't.
Yeah, this is like the world that he has selected, and that's what people are populating it. You can't change that. And you have you heard of the Moors? Okay, they were Moors in Europe, yes, and the Spanish have driven them out in 1,000 years ago. Oh my god!
Yeah, time periods would help. That would be nice. What these people are talking about.
This is written by the English perspective. And like non-European perspective, there weren't black people there. Yes, like the original sentiment is wrong. There were some in Europe, like parts of Europe, very southern Europe, where it's like connected to Africa itself. But yes, otherwise no.
Yeah, I remember the show I was watching from Austria, the Vienna Blood. They have an Asian archivist in the 1900s, turn of the century. You're like, oh, that's interesting, but I could buy it because people are running around stagecoaches and there's people coming in and out of Europe, and you're like, all right, fine, an Asian woman who speaks German or Austrian, whatever specific dialect of German there is. Like, all right, fair enough, I can run with that. But if it was like 500 years ago, I'd be like, wait a second, that probably wouldn't work. This is a fantasy setting where you can do whatever the hell you want, so I don't really see the problem, but okay, yeah. Anyway. People are racist because they read a book, sure.
So where are the Asian people in the world?
Where are all the Hindus? Come on, where are all the nice
are the Hindus
Caribbean people there? Yeah.
Where's the Latinos?
Yeah, the Trinidad and Tobago. They're nice people to go. Why aren't they there?
This is like coming back to that joke about a white Black Panther. You have like an African story, like, and let's base it like in Africa somewhere. It's like obviously it's gonna be surrounded by like the kind of like ethnicity where everyone has black skin almost, and it's not even connected to like like continents like where the empire had like colonies, but you change like so many characters that they are like white tribes, and then these people will like complain about it, like that this is not true. And then you will say that, like, but the Empire was like making colonies here. Of course, there were white people here. Same argument.
Yeah. Anyway, let's see how racist these fans are for defending the thing they love so much.
Yes.
Earth. May I just quickly say, as someone who has some knowledge on medieval Europe, there were definitely way more people of color in Western Europe during these times.
How do you know that?
During these times, Lord of the Rings is set in a fantasy.
Is he talking about...
Are you telling me that this is based on reality?
Is he talking about Europe in medieval times? Like, what is the argument? Like, why are we talking about that? What's the point?
I can accept that there were like Mongolian invaders from the east.
And they just integrated themselves for the rest of...
Of course, they only got to Hungary, but other than that, of course, they have integrated themselves secretly. And they will have like very dark skin. But like none of the features that Asians otherwise do have.
Yeah. I don't know where he's going on this tangent, but let's see where he's trying to form an argument here.
And dragons and orcs. I'm just saying. Then we have the people posting...
You're just saying? I have knowledge. I have knowledge of Europe, guys. I'm just saying it, okay? So we don't have to take you seriously then. Great. You're just saying shit. It's great. That's not... Guys, in an argument, never say, I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there. The sun is hot. Okay, what are you talking about? Why did you say that? What's the point? I don't like it's not helping anything.
Not a single. It could have led to studies at least that like we have found like skeletons that resemble African skeletons. So like the races would like be at least like close like, for
we
that.
found one
but
body.
None. Absolutely none.
We found one body from ancient medieval times
and like Lord of the Rings have it covered. There are people on the east of Middle Earth. They have like very dark skin, but like this story isn't about them. What is so hard about understanding that?
And why can't
they aren't really like crossbreeding?
Yeah, and why can't
as far as I know that there's like I'm sorry to interrupt, but like wasn't there like a point that there's like a half elf and half human? Aragorn is one of them. I
really?
completely forgot like that race.
Well. I don't see anything wrong with fans debating lore and going, well, no, this is not in the books. There's no examples of characters. There might be references here and there, but it's not a whole contingent of people or a city. It's just some we don't know. And you can argue the details, and that's fine without calling them racist. They're just arguing the details. The details could have been about the color of trees or rocks or magic or whatever, but no. It has to be race, and therefore they're racist? Like, no. Come on. No one goes through 3 books or even just The Hobbit and it goes, now I'm a white supremacist and that's how it goes. Like no one's reading these and changing their outlook on love and hate towards your common man. It just doesn't happen with Tolkien. I don't know where he's getting this. If that's the case, then like there must be all kinds of racists in the UK because they read all this ancient or great literature from British authors. I mean, we could say the same of J.K. Rowling. Most of her characters are white, Anglo-Saxon. Does that make them racist? I don't think so. Anyway.
According to him, yes.
Maybe he did a video on...
Just saying.
Yeah, I'm just saying, guys. Another white woman wrote a book from Great Britain. I mean, come on.
Just saying, maybe there's black people.
Maybe. Yeah, we might have an Asian in there for fun.
For some reason.
Cringy memes, like this one which just reminds me of every anti-SJW Reddit post back in 2006.
2000. There was anti-SJWs in 2006,
What?
or maybe he's going to say 16.
None that I know of.
SJWs, the way we know them now, did not exist in 2006 either. So
I
don't know where he's pulling this from.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know which ass he's pulling this
I-
from. Not his.
Oh, they took Kingmaker on the bottom right. Look at that. Oh my god. Because the two characters are, she's a half elf and the other one's a half orc or something like that. I can't remember.
Jeez.
And they're both into each other and they're both bisexual, but that's just, Pathfinder.
Ooh.
Yeah. Anyway, Pathfinder's great. None of this shit.
This shit was funny years ago, but now all it is divisive and unnecessary.
It was funny. What?
It's also true now.
So wait a second. He liked it years ago, but now it's just bad. Wait. So okay. So back in
Can
the
we
day,
go back a bit?
let me. Yeah.
Well, now it's funny because it's true.
I can't follow him anymore.
Yeah. So it's funny back. I liked it before, but now it's bad. Why?
Like this one, which just reminds me of every anti-SJW Reddit post back in 2006.
But back then it was funny because it was ridiculous. Now it's funny because it's true.
Back in 2008, I don't think they were posting any of these things.
Well, yeah.
It's a
I hope
very
not.
recent thing that
Kingmaker-
has been happening with media.
With those characters didn't come out back in 2006. Maybe mean 16. I don't know. Like what?
I hope he means 16.
Yeah. All right. Jeez.
16. This
Yeah, it is 16. Okay.
shit was
Oh,
funny.
I said, yeah, he said 16.
All right.
well,
Saying.
fuck
Then we
us,
have
right?
People posting cringy memes, like this one, which just reminds me of every anti-SJW Reddit post back in 2016. This shit was funny years ago, but now all it is divisive and
Okay. So this is
It's
where
still funny.
this is where I'm lost. He was laughing at it back in 2016. So he was like, "Ha ha ha! Yeah, you're right. I don't like this woke shit and blah blah blah. This is dumb. Ha ha." Now he's like, "Well, no, everyone's sensitive, and now I have to be against it."
I'm laughing at the fact that he was on Reddit in 2016.
This is a strange take because usually when you find something funny from 10 years ago, it's still funny.
It's not now. It's divisive. It's no longer funny. Oh.
I don't. Yeah, that is a.
It's almost like you have to rely on the mainstream to change the narrative. So they decide like what's gonna be funny.
Yeah, it's like he doesn't have a brain of his own. He's like, well, I liked it, but then it sucked. And like, why did it suck?
The institution have told me that this is no longer funny.
Yeah, a bunch of
I must stay away from this.
a bunch of other people that are bigger than me. I listen
Are you
to.
channeling your inner you're channeling your inner Christopher Walken, aren't you?
I'm trying to. I'm trying really hard.
Hey,
I'm sorry, that just sounded like Walken to me. I don't know.
Oh dear. Well, this is the dumbest shit. Like, I liked it 5 years ago, and now it's bad. It's like, how? When did your?
It needs more races.
Yeah, no, dude, this is dumb. This is the dumbest. Like, if your opinion was different, how did you get here, and why is it divisive now? Tell me and show me why it was good and now it's bad. Like when we,
Because he switched sides.
I guess, but when we make a critical analysis, when we do an assessment of media, or it could be a meme, it could be anything, and we say this is why it's good, this is why it's bad, this is why it's funny, this is why it's not funny, this is why it works and why it doesn't. Our opinions very rarely change unless there's something we missed. Like, oh, I didn't realize that was an inside joke. Like sometimes I'm like, I look at a meme and I'm like, I don't get it. Like, what's the joke? Like I have to. It's either like something esoteric to a certain topic I don't know, like a certain video game I never played, or it's like people have to tell me. It's like explain the joke to me. That's usually when it's a bad joke. So for him to change it, it's like, okay, dude, it tells us a lot more about your lack of intelligence and convictions and opinions that are steadfast and have value, and you're just going along with whatever your, I don't know, your spiritual leader is saying, whoever this guy follows. I don't get it. And this guy dares to have a YouTube channel to share opinions that could change next 3 years from now. Weird. Anyway, this stands out to me as just bizarre.
Unnecessary. There are also the people who post memes of Ryan Gosling being cast as Martin Luther King Jr., which really just shows that this person
It's
has no
hilarious.
That's a joke.
That's a joke, sir.
It's a joke.
Ha ha ha! Don't you get it?
It's probably when like they had a response to the Bloody Mary casting. It would be represented by a black actress.
Yeah.
And it would be still a historical movie. I hope I'm not paraphrasing, and it's just that. But
Yeah.
like, I remember something like that. Like whenever it comes to like historical depictions or like something that's like very clearly stated in the lore that they are that race and they have that kind of color and that kind of hair, such things, people are going to be angry at that they haven't done justice to it. But like given that like this Amazon series is not only just woke, it's gonna be just like pure shit because they can't adapt properly, as was stated by some sources.
Yeah.
And if they are true on day one, that's gonna be really bad for them.
Yeah, this is the. I think it was because of the Anne Boleyn casting of the black queen, and but the producers used that identity. Was it identity consciousness casting or whatever bullshit? So they're like, oh, we want a balanced cast of this and that, and you're like, okay, this is stupid.
Yeah, I've seen like the BBC and like other like Northern European media trying to like have shows that like black people were always here and such, but really they just came in fairly recently compared to the people, but they just try to like get them that like they were always part of here, and they fear that like they're releasing a media that represents only just white people.
Yeah, you see,
it's just they can't let go of that thing.
I remember
while we are like openly accepting like any other culture, just come up with your own thing. Don't replace the existing culture with something that is supposedly the same thing, but like races are swapped.
Yeah,
or anything.
I remember a show, it was a sci-fi show in the 90s, I believe. It was Quantum Leap, where they dealt with sexism and racism, and we had a man play these roles acting feminine. And I thought, this is clever, because he's in the body of a woman, but we see Scott Bakula dressed up in drag or whatever and acting all feminine. I think, oh, this is cool. But they see the body of the woman and the voice of the woman, because we see them because I don't know, we're just special. We have the eyes of God and we can see through physically what's there. So it's like they did a very clever thing using science fiction. That's the beauty of science fiction. You're allowed to do all these crazy things, and under the guise of technology and time travel or whatever, you can get away with telling a story about racism and poking fun at reality or history, and having our hero trying to right what went wrong. That's the whole premise of the story, to go back in time and fix things for the better, which is crazy because you're altering the past in such a small way. You think it'd have bigger repercussions, but they never get into that too much. So you can do things like this. You can actually address issues in a direct way. And in this way, we're just doing it in a funny way with memes, because we're just a bunch of people with Photoshop. It's easy to do. And there's nothing wrong with poking fun at all of this shit. If you're going to change our heroes, we can change your heroes. Or we can change... Actually, Martin Luther King is pretty much everyone's hero. So if you're going to change fictional heroes, we're going to change real heroes. See how you like it. See how ridiculous that sounds. And if they can't grasp that, they're the ones with the problem. If they can't see past their own faults, if they can't laugh at that, and this guy used to laugh at it, now he thinks it's bad. This is mean. This is cruel. This is silly.
Because he's one of them now.
Yeah, it's bizarre. Like, he used to be rational and contemplative and self-aware. Now it's like, oh, it's all bad. It's all horrible. Why did I laugh at that stuff? I don't see how this is anti-racist. This is just logical. If you think this way, this is the logical result if you want to change the race of people. So, anyway.
idea what the difference between blackwashing and just casting a black person would actually be. Because I'll tell you right now, this certainly ain't even close to being blackwashing. Listen, some of these memes by themselves could be funny, like Ryan Gosling playing Martin Luther King Jr., because that's not too far from the actual whitewashing that has happened in the past. But it's just the use of the meme that's the problem. Then there's also this...
The use of the meme? What is the use of the meme? Someone using it in general? What's wrong with that? I can't copy a meme and paste it and tweet or retweet? What's wrong with that? I see nothing. What is this guy talking about? The meme is fine, but just it's the use of the meme. Like, what do you... Like, the sheet music's fine, but when you play the music, that's when it's bad. Like, what are you talking about? What is this double speak nonsense? It's like, oh, the thing is fine, but not when you actually use it. Like, nuclear bombs are fine until you use. Like, what do you?
It's fine when I'm using it.
What's wrong with tweeting about a joke? It's a meme. It's supposed to make you laugh. Like, oh, that's ironic. Dumb people are saying the opposite, so we're posting the exact same thing, acting like them. And you're defending it because it's racist. Oh, boy. See how long this video is taking already? And we're just like... 3 minutes, not even.
One. Honestly can't imagine being this ignorant. Like, there really must be no awareness.
This guy is telling people aren't self-aware and are ignorant. When Chris, whoever this dude is, we have all the color we need. Stop trying to replace white people. We are the most colorful people. That's a weird thing to say, but fine, whatever.
Yeah, it's Oh God.
Usual stupidity.
Anyway, keep on.
Left a message by Whisp in the chat.
Oh, okay. Oh, skids. Okay, let's add skids. All right. Let's keep on going.
Of the world around them whatsoever. Memes are supposed to be funny, but this is just a way of spreading hateful opinions.
It's not a hateful opinion.
Hello there.
Hey, skids, how you doing?
So how's this video so far?
It is like listening to a 6-year-old in a 20-year-old body who went to whatever university, and he's trying
Memes used to be good, but now they are not, because the mainstream media have told me that they are divisive.
Yeah, essentially.
Oh no.
So we're trying to like, okay, let's try and imagine I had a brain 4 years ago or whatever, and now I don't because the powers that be that I listen to think things are racist because whatever, I don't know.
How many people has he called toxic?
Just once.
I mean, he uses that word so much, it has no meaning whenever he says it.
Oh yeah, he's very good at calling every popular YouTuber he disagrees with toxic or fans toxic.
Yeah, I'm thinking of eventually responding to his Last Jedi video, and I was wondering if he's going to make a video on me saying why I am toxic.
I don't know. I never enjoyed this term of somehow our ideas are hurting and poisonous, and it's like, oh, so I said something which affected you so greatly it hurts you, and I didn't intend to hurt you, but what I said had value to eat away at your core beliefs. I was like, that's a good thing then. If I'm changing the way you think, and you have to go through some psychological turmoil to deal with that, I don't see how that's inherently a bad thing or a negative thing if I'm changing your mind. So I'm trying to wrap my brain. I still don't like the word toxic. I know hatred. Being a fan who's highly critical of a fandom or lore is natural. It means you're paying attention. And for all these fans that he's calling toxic or this or that, it's like, no, they're just fans. They love their thing. They're defending it. They're describing it. They're passionate about it. And you are reacting emotionally.
Yeah, like, honestly, he's more toxic than any of them.
See, that's where I'm lost because I don't know how to use the term anymore.
Yeah, I mean,
he's
like, you disagree with me, you're toxic.
Well, that's what I say to when he calls people racist, because he's saying, well, you're a racist because you don't want black people in Lord of the Rings. And we're like, It's not that we don't
Yeah.
want black people. Is that they
it makes
aren't?
no sense.
Yeah, they
It
aren't
makes
in
no
there.
sense.
So you're the one who's being sensitive to racism or
Yeah.
races. So that's where I say now you're using a term what I can describe you as because that's the topic.
Well, what if there was a movie that had all black cast and there was a white man joining in? Wouldn't
Yeah, that's
I-
the Wakanda joke, the Wakanda meme that he showed. He thought it was bad because he just said it was because he's just saying it's a bad meme. And you're like, why is it bad? It's
Yeah.
logically consistent with the argument. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, and to say I don't really care so much who they cast as long as they're good actors, but if you're going to get a period piece, if you're going to have source material, and it says or shows how things are done, how magic is done, how characters look and act, and how technology works, you should follow the source material. It's really simple.
Yeah. That should be a top priority.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
Well, I guess we're just racist because we want source material to be
Yeah.
respected.
The problem with this source material for the series is that it's based off 4 poems, and there's not much to pull from. So
Yeah.
I could understand some creative freedom. I just don't know how that translates to the rest of Tolkien's work, and I don't think people would expect to have all these races running around. But who knows? I'm not a huge fan of Tolkien. I have to really get into it. That takes months to read anything Tolkien. Just takes so long.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
But moving on, there are also a lot of funny back and forths between people, like this one. Tolkien don't write black characters on his books. We get it ruins your day to see black people. Wrong. And this one, black?
That's fair. What's wrong with that?
I don't hear anything. I don't hear anything from him.
Are you in the watch together?
Yeah, I am. I don't see the video.
Oh, you're kidding.
We can't really see you though. Like your name haven't popped up yet.
Yeah, your name has not been popped up in the watch together. So just rejoin and refresh.
Okay, I'll disconnect.
All right, no problem. Take your time. No, no. The watch together skits, not the. See the link? Here, let me give it to you.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
There you go. We're just having some technical difficulties here, so just.
Okay. All right, I'm in.
All right. Great. Okay, let's keep going.
In Tolkien's world, wizards, goblins, dragons, okay, but black people, so unrealistic. Yes, I believe in wizards and dwarves, but a black person just shattered the suspension of disbelief. I really don't know why people are getting so angry about this.
It's not about that.
Yeah. Okay. Let me give you this. Oh, we got a guy who wears a Black Panther suit that's like Iron Man, and we got super advanced technology, but one white person. That is so unrealistic. That's because it's set in Africa. Set in Africa, you retard. I mean,
yeah. So
this is
the realism argument is not really applicable to fiction. It has nothing to do with how realistic something is, unless that is the vibe and the accuracy of what the writer wanted to go for. In fantasy, you can do whatever you want. And because Tolkien's so descriptive and so detailed, when he exposes the world and world builds, we would know if there was a black race running around and having characterization and doing things in the plot and all that stuff. And it's not there. That's why when we see like an Asian, if there was an Asian Tolkien character running around, be like, whoa, where's that? Where'd that come from? And that's actually in the Gingaman. That's actually in the game you're reviewing right now, I believe.
yeah.
Mind me.
I didn't play the game, but I saw clips and there was a talk about these Asian chicks who were whatever warriors or whatever, and I was like, okay, yeah.
In the game, I don't recall.
I could be wrong. I mean, maybe I'm thinking about another Lord of the Rings experience.
Yeah.
Probably a different one, because for the most part, the games stick close to pretty much what we see in the movies.
Okay, good. I'm wrong.
Yeah.
except for one black guy in Shadow of War, but even then he's decently well written. Even though he's shoehorned in there, even though by that aspect it goes against what Tolkien wrote, he's still a decent character. They made it work. Plus, you don't see him all that much anyway.
Right.
Yeah. The only closest things like Asian people would probably be like the Haradrim Easterlings, since
Right.
they come from the south, from what's described as a hot and exotic land.
Okay, I think I know what you're talking about. Oh, geez, it's been a while since I've...
Yeah, those guys on the elephant, the huge elephants.
Yeah, that's not in the games.
Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah, I'm just talking about from the movies and from.
No, I know. I mean, to be fair to the games, they take mostly from the movies as their like basics, as their like fundamental, foundation.
Yeah.
So the guy, the guy on screen is arguing that everyone should be part of a fantasy world. It's like, well, not Tolkien's if he didn't put characters like that in there. And no one is like being removed as an audience fan or member. You can enjoy Tolkien for whatever it's worth. The message is pretty universal.
I can't relate to a person that has a different skin color.
I know it's impossible.
Yeah.
How do you do that? I can't.
Hey guys, there's this funny meme from the Laughing Cavalier. March on Helm's Deep, avenge George Floyd. Starman to his army.
Even though the vast majority of people that did that participated in the ensuing riots knew next to nothing about the guy, let alone know him personally.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Like, I also want to address what he shows on screen when he talks about the few black extras in The Hobbit. I mean, yeah, they were in it, but for one, they were only extras, and they weren't really used to push any woke message. And two, it still doesn't make a whole lot of sense for them being in it to be in it either. Now, at least since they're so minor, it doesn't really harm too much.
I think there's a bigger outcry from the hardcore fans about the truck, or was it a Ferrari in the background?
Oh, the truck, yeah, in the first Lord of the Rings movie, like it's
so
in
far
New
away.
Zealand.
I could barely tell it was a vehicle, but okay.
Yeah, I watched that movie twice, like it's just to see that detail, and I couldn't find it. It's like right at the moment when Sam and Frodo leave the Shire.
Yeah, I mean, you can barely see it's there. It's a very minor thing. It's not like a knife disappearing to save the protagonist's life.
Boy, let's not bring that up. Anyway, let's keep going.
Yeah, moving on.
Very limited and quite negatively portrayed. There have been people of color in the Middle-earth movies before, like the Easterlings or some of the extras in the Hobbit movies. But even if there wasn't any previous inclusion of people of different skin colors, that doesn't mean it should stay that way. Listen,
Yeah, that's just Hollywood.
Yeah, no, casting for people in the background, tertiary characters, that's whatever they do to get the job done. I don't fault them for that.
That's not too much of an example in terms of this whole discussion.
Yeah.
It's just extras. It's like, yeah, they just want people in the background just for the sake of having people in the background. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, this honestly reminds me of, like, people were complaining about Resident Evil 5 and how, like, the bad guy zombies are all the people from Africa, but it's like,
I didn't see anyone complaining about the enemies being Spaniards in RE4.
Yeah.
I didn't see anyone from Spain or anyone in the Hispanic community talking about that shit.
They were too busy enjoying the game.
Yeah.
Exactly, because it's a good game.
Yeah, Resident 4 is pretty good. Yeah.
It's like they don't even they only acknowledge like once or twice that they're in Spain, and that's it. Other than that, it's Resident Evil, as we've always known it.
Yeah.
Not even from the fact that most of the entire series before 4 took place relatively in one location, which was Raccoon City, in America.
All right, let's keep going.
Tolkien was from a different time than the one we live in now. Back when Tolkien wrote The Lord of the Rings, black representation in media really wasn't a thing, except for incredibly
There wasn't
stereotypical and
much
prejudiced
around in
portrayals.
Europe
A lot of
at the
people
time.
accuse Tolkien of being racist, and I don't personally know much about these arguments, but the way I see it, a lot of people were racist back then.
Remind me, when exactly did Tolkien write the books?
1950s.
Yeah,
The
like
50
the
Not even the civil rights movement had occurred at that point.
Well, let's assume that's the sign of the times. Are we going to fault him just for being like everyone else?
yeah,
No.
You weren't born with today's modern sensibilities, so thus your work sucks and you're racist.
Yeah, in terms of when he wrote the books compared to when we were seeing them, when we were exposed to them, which was in terms of the mainstream was with the movies in the early 2000s, there was like a 50-year gap. We have to set that aside in order to critique it.
Yeah, I'm not too concerned.
That aspect isn't that relevant, is what I'm saying.
I'm not too concerned when it was written, why it was written, whether he is or is not racist. If the lore says things are the way they are,
Yeah.
and it adds up, and it makes sense, and it's described well, and it reads well, I don't care. Like that's the lore.
I mean, in Dragon Age Origins, you could change your guy to be like a black guy, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's so since in the other games it includes that, it's not like it's going against pre-established lore. It would be one thing if it were established to be all white, and then they went against it in the later games. But that's exactly what this show is going to do. It's going to go against lore just for representation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a bit weird, and why he's arguing for it, I don't know. I don't see the value in it, aside from you're going to hire some black or Asian or whatever actors in the background. You're like, or maybe as secondary characters. From 4 poems,
that's just Hollywood.
Yeah, from 4 poems, you could do whatever the hell you want. But if it's not based off anything solid, then people aren't going to like it. People do not go to Tolkien based off poetry, and he has a lot of poetry, I know, and that's not what's popular from Tolkien.
Yeah, the point is that the main backbone. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. The main backbone of Tolkien's material regarding Middle Earth is mainly the Lord of the Rings, the Hobbit, and the Silmarillion, however you pronounce it. Silmarillion, yeah. My bad. That's the main backbone of the work that we're judging this series on.
And it takes place in that universe, so you have to respect the universe and the lore. And if you don't, then it's going to be frowned upon because you're making this for fans. That's all you're making it for. And I gave that previous example of Jack Reacher with Tom Cruise. They love Tom Cruise. People love Tom Cruise. He's a great guy, great actor. He's not 5 or 6 foot, whatever. Sad enough. But the series, the creator of the series says, well, we can't use Tom Cruise anymore because the fans didn't like him. They're right. He's too small. We love Tom, but we can't use him again. So we're looking for anyone with talent who's the right height, the right build. And Jack Reacher, if you know the story of Jack Reacher, he's a hobo essentially, but he's an ex-military detective. And he's built like a truck. He's tall and huge. So that is the actor you need. And they found one. The series is currently on. It's a great depiction if you like those kinds of stories. But it's primarily made, if not only made, for the fans. That's the audience. So you wouldn't change his race. You wouldn't change his build. You wouldn't change him into a female. It wouldn't work if they did. So anyway.
At least according to how we define racism today. And that was the norm in a lot of places. But times change.
Wait a second. If you were just making the case that back in the day everyone was this way, then great.
Yeah. I got to think, what's going to happen, let's say, a couple decades from now when people's sensibilities have changed from today's? Like, would it be fair to criticize some today, like another 40, 50 years from now?
Yeah, the work becomes its own weird amalgamation of whatever's currently popular. And a modern take just keeps reinventing what it means. Like, imagine reinventing Batman. And, I don't know, instead of having grappling hooks, he's got, jet-propelled shit from, Attack on
like
Titan.
imagine if he's like Iron Man. Like imagine let's
Yeah.
say he just has this Iron Man suit. That's
Yeah.
just a bat brand.
Yeah, exactly. Be like, okay, wait a second, that's not Batman. That's like future Batman or some Elseworld Batman or something like that, which is fine, but that's not Batman. So you have to respect the lore. You have to say, what do fans want?
Yeah, it's Iron Bat.
Iron Bat. Yeah.
Jeez. Which is
Looks
part of the
like
reason
such-
why animated series in Arkham are some of the most praised versions of the character. They respected the legacy and the lore of the character while also doing their own thing without breaking anything.
Yeah,
That's how you do it.
Or the Christopher Nolan movies. Well, at least the first two before Dark Knight Rises just made Bruce as a complete
I mean,
idiot.
Yeah, true. I have my own indifference towards Nolan. That's just a personal thing. It's like I'm not gonna say they're bad. I'm indifferent to them.
Right. And if you look
But
at
I can respect them for what they did.
if you recall, Japan took Batman. They made what was it, Batman Ninja or something like that,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Batman Ninja.
which is fine. Alternate universe.
Yeah, they did a similar thing with Spider-Man. Like there was that 70s Spider-Man show.
Yes.
I would say DC, though, before we go back to the video, I would say DC has the biggest advantage when it comes to like different versions and different interpretations, because they specifically made a point of it having that as the explanation for why there's different versions of the characters, even literally in universe, which is why Crisis on Infinite Earths was such a big deal back in '85.
Well,
Yeah,
In re-
before they ruined it, before CW ruined that.
Before, no, the comics ruined it themselves by doing event after event, trying to recapture the magic of Crisis on Infinite Earths and failing every time. Zero Hour, Infinite Crisis, Final Crisis, jeez, Heroes in Crisis, like stop. But anyway,
yeah. If I'm just reading a few articles on Tolkien and race, and he was influenced by Victorian attitudes to race and whatever tradition of literary technique on writing monsters. But they describe him as being anti-racist both in peacetime and during the 2 world wars. So there's other things like the Japanese, the Nazis that he was talking about and influenced by. But I think this goes without saying that because he's a veteran, he would be influenced by the war in general. And he told a story about war that is a huge epic. So it took time to flesh that out. And if you're talking about Europe, everyone's multicultural and multiracial at the time as well. So let him tell the story he wants to tell. Who cares if he was or was not racist or was not influenced by racial themes, especially when he was opposing the Nazis. So, don't know. He's viciously against anti-German propaganda. So, or German propaganda rather.
if only Whisper here.
Oh yeah, Whisp would have some.
Yeah, he'll have a field day with this one,
Yeah.
just like he always does.
All right. Anyway, we're almost halfway done, and
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy for that because this
Good
is
riddance.
a big
Yeah.
pile of nothing. Yeah, this is just bad take after
Okay.
bad take. Yeah.
Changed
That's-
drastically compared to a century ago, even 50 years ago, even 10 years ago. Nowadays,
Even 10 years ago, what?
Yeah.
Our attitudes on race are different? No, they're not.
Yeah, it's not that much different. Like 50 or 100 years ago would be a better example, like you mentioned, but not 10.
I would argue the people that are left-leaning had a variety of different takes on race in the past 15 years because of the sensitivity towards it. But other than that, people in general, no, we don't really think about it.
Yeah.
We don't really care.
we're trying to normalize people of color being prominent in media because they represent a massive portion of the world's population.
So? If that's true, so what? What does that have anything to do with Tolkien?
I mean,
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
well,
We have established that
Yeah.
these people are
Hmm.
white in skin color. Yes. Why make everything multicultural then?
Yeah, imagine China, for whatever capacity, manages to conquer the world, and they are 90% of the population. They're all Chinese. If they were to recreate Tolkien, they wouldn't find enough well, maybe they could find enough actors to play Anglo-Saxon style looking dudes. and women.
Mhm.
It would still not be accurate because they weren't written that way. The lore would not be respected.
Yeah, what happens if, let's say there's this movie franchise created in Africa, and we here in America want to recreate that and made it mostly white? Wouldn't that be subject to criticism?
Oh yeah, this guy would be like, oh, this is whitewashing. There's clearly not enough black people in this movie. And You're like,
Even inside like European cultures, like one race can't represent the other one. Surprise, surprise! Like not all Europeans look alike, just because we have mostly like whitish skin.
Yeah,
Like, a Russian-looking guy can't really faces like an Anglo-Saxon one. Yeah,
it is possible to try and get some of the Anglo-Saxons to, like, some people to potentially be like, say, Russian, even though there's like a specific genealogy. So if you're Eastern European-ish, you could probably do it. But once you start going further away from Russia, it's like, okay, yeah, you can't. You're Polish, sir. You're not Russian. It's like, okay. Anyway.
And because we're all human beings who just look different. We're trying to normalize the idea.
Wait a second. Wait. The argument is we're all human and we all look different.
Because we are all human beings because we look different.
Like the Lord of the Rings movies display that at a large extent as well. Like Frodo, Samwise, Gandalf,
I mean,
they all look different.
Yeah, the whole point Fellowship Rings is made up like it's comprised of everyone from every race.
A diverse cast of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. so technically, Lord of the Rings has always been about diversity in a different way.
Yeah, but because everyone's not the way that he wants it, it's not. Even though that's one of the messages of the film, that all these people come together from every walk of life, every region, every race. Well, the good people at least.
Yeah. And hell, even like, let's say, Gimli and Legolas, like both their races hate each other, but they learn to like get along as movies go on, to the point where Gimli's like, "I never thought I'd be dying side by side with the elf," and Legolas says, "I'm out side by side with a friend." Like, it's like that.
Yeah, it's a very on the nose sort of representation. I don't know why they need to be different colored skin tones when they're from completely different peoples. What's the problem here, sir? Anyway,
none.
That's the secret. Skin doesn't at all determine someone's worth. It really should.
No one's saying it does.
Shouldn't matter. And I thought we were mostly.
It matters because it's in the lore, sir. That's why people watch these films. Hey, remember chapter 2 of The Two Towers where this happens? Yeah, they're doing it on the screen. That's amazing. And if it doesn't follow exactly the same way, and there's a lot of arguments why people didn't like Peter Jackson's depiction, because they removed characters like I wanted to see in the first film, Tom Bombadil. But
I think I've even heard like Tolkien's grandson saying that like my grandfather wouldn't have liked a depiction of Legolas because he's too pretty looking. Supposedly.
Aren't elves supposed to be good looking?
Well, he looks way more like a pretty boy. That's what he was saying.
Yeah, they're magical creatures, so it's kind of like they look a little different than everyone else.
Yeah, I just thought the elves were supposed to be like the best looking like people in Middle Earth, like particularly someone like Galadriel, for example.
Yeah, everything is unique to their setting, so that there's all these side stories and plots that they would have to cut stuff out. So if they don't want to have like everyone be a gorgeous actor, but they usually get really good looking actors anyway for big productions, so it's fair. But why they cut out Tom Bombadil, he has nothing to do with the main story. Nothing.
Yeah, he's filler. Like, he's like the definition of filler.
Yeah, he is filler, but it's fascinating because he's the guy who says, well, I don't really care about the ring. I don't care about the war. I live in my forest. That's all that matters to me. It will never come to me. This will keep going on. I'm invincible. I'm immortal. My wife is invincible and immortal. We don't care. You're like, oh, wow, that's fascinating. A little bit of a contrast between what's going on in the rest of the world. But yeah, nothing to do with the plot. So, is it racist because he's a big white immortal god of the forest? I don't think so. Like there's so many characters that go, oh well, is he racist because he's an elf? Is he racist because he's a dwarf or a halfling? I don't think so. So all the arguments that Tolkien is a racist or not depicting diversity is retarded. He invented an entire genre or subgenre of fantasy, and diversity was part of it. So
getting there, but comments like these just remind us that there's still so far to go. However, people like these are luckily a dying.
Cherry-picked 3 or 4 tweets to represent an entire fandom.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Can you imagine?
TurfNation.
Can you imagine Bollywood being non-Indian? Can you imagine hiring American actors to speak American with an American script and making a Bollywood movie? It wouldn't be the same. Same with Asian cinema, French cinema, etc. What are you doing? Do you want everything to be this weird amalgamation of everyone just fits in and there's no discerning quality of what makes a Hong Kong film or what makes a comedy film, like just this generic genre of everyone looking the same or being in every other role? Like, you can't have leading characters or leading men on the sidelines. They're leading men. You need actors to represent leading men. Like, I always make the joke that David Suchet in Poirot, he's not a leading actor. He's not a leading man. He is a secondary actor. He is a villain. He is a method actor. He's never, he's not the big strong guy. He's a short little dude who has plans, and he doesn't attack from the front. He attacks from the side. When he was acting as in Shakespeare's Othello, he played as Iago, the guy who was always foiling Othello by stabbing him in the back, never from the front. Because Othello was a big warrior king, and he would charge people up in front. He was very straightforward and not very bright. But Iago is clever and intelligent. So you need actors to be in certain roles as they were written, not just visually. Visually helps too. It really helps that David Suchet is not a 6'5", 350-pound hulking man. It does help that. It matters he's small. So racial characteristics do matter, as according to the writer. So we need that.
Breed. It's a slow process, but at least we're making progress. And I can gladly inform you that there are also some level-headed people in the comments who are calling out these people. So don't lose all hope yet. The racists shall not
everybody
pass.
that agrees.
For example,
The racists shall not pass. What?
Yeah, basically he's just saying, oh, you're not toxic if you agree with me. Like, you're level-headed if you think exactly the way I think.
Yeah, I left a giant comment on his previous video we did, and I just don't care anymore. I'm not going to bother.
Yeah, you mean his critical drinker's toxic.
Yeah, that was the one. I wrote down at least, I don't know, 20 or 30 lines of points that were just so dumb. Like, every time this guy opens his mouth, we're just like, oh.
Look at this retarded meme. 36 white male protagonists. Last year I had 37. That was a bad British accent, I'm sorry, but this meme is so retarded. Yeah,
people maybe like watching films with white protagonists. I don't know. Why are they making them? Maybe they're white writers. Maybe they...
What? Well, what if the protagonist isn't even like a human? Like, what if it's, let's say, a transformer, for example?
Yeah.
What would you say then? Is it racist?
I don't care if it's white film, black film, Asian film. There's an audience for it. That's why he wrote it. That's why it sold. That's why the publisher allowed him to, and they produced it. I don't care the number. I don't care how. If it's popular, it sells. They make it. Good for them. That's not racist. That's just giving the people what they want. For whatever dumb reasons we don't like, or whatever good reasons we don't like Transformer films or Michael Bay, they sell. People like them.
Yeah.
Even though they suck donkey ass.
Yeah.
Yeah. And oh my god.
Good for them.
They're like the bottom of the barrel of blockbuster movies.
It took until fucking Bumblebee for any of those movies to be good.
Yeah.
And that's a prequel.
Yeah. No, it's a soft reboot.
It's soft reboot still.
Yeah. Well.
Still same universe, same story, same events. Just like how God of War 4 is a soft reboot. Everything still happened.
All right.
Yeah.
We are more than halfway done. I feel like stopping. This is just pointless, but
Yeah, you think of blacklisting him after this?
well, I thought we did. Didn't we? Did we do that last time?
Which one?
It was at least a year ago, or obviously, it's a new year. But,
I think you're thinking of Goldman because I remember you blacklisted him.
oh, that was a while back. Yeah, he was worthless.
Yeah, I think you might be thinking of him because I remember you were so mad at the last video of his you covered. You officially blacklisted him.
We did that week-long video. Then we did a few others. I can't remember. He is, a child. There's all these childish arguments that I just like. I can't waste time.
Yeah, Goldman and TurfNation, they belong. They deserve each other. Like I think they would get along just fine.
I don't know how. Goldman is at least analytical. He has some capacity. This guy is just like, oh, this is a meme. This is racist. This is a meme. This is racist. This is a meme. This is sexist. But it's like,
well, for one, Goldman implied several times that the audience was sexist, and two, he's also a big Raylo fan and did this video essay on Raylo, the importance of compassion.
really?
Yeah, it always comes back to Raylo, doesn't it?
Yes.
Well, that's the guy who defended or tried to defend Ray as not being Mary Sue, and that's the video we took apart.
Which she is. She is. I don't want to hear any crap on anyone anymore about that.
Well, she's not Mary Sue because she ended up not being pixel perfect with this one shot.
Well, the arguments that we took apart were pretty. They were the point where he was forgiving the writer. He just said, "Oh, I can forgive this." And you're like, "Wait a second."
Yes, that was every second sentence that came out from his mouth.
Yeah, it was like, this is
The
a
other
problem.
ones were just sucking someone's dick.
Yeah, it was just like, well, I can forgive a triple shot of shooting people out of the sky. It's like, really? You can do that?
How graceful.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. Let's keep going. Let's at least try to get the 5-minute mark before we pause again.
Yeah, well.
Was quite funny. I also really liked this comment of someone saying, hot take, but the story about different peoples and races putting aside their grudges and differences to unite against a great corruptive evil that preys on the weakness of division may actually work perfectly fine with people of color in it, that aren't the pirates or elephant rider.
Wait a second.
Very close.
You just said story about different peoples and races. So the story is about peoples and races. Why are you...
He's saying it doesn't count because the people of color were the bad guys.
Yeah,
I'm not in the story. How can I relate to these characters?
Yeah, like, if you're saying they're different races, they're different races. It doesn't matter what the race-specific trait is, like different skin tone or different height or different hair or different eyes or what. They're racially different. They're their own people. There, you've got what you want. Oh, but they're not purple. What? No, they didn't.
Also, every fucking story about like different races and people have to unite together against the greater evil has to have black people and all the other races in it. Like, can we have any other story ideas?
I know. If
every single one of them is going to be about this, then none of them is going to be distinct.
I was going to bring up the joke you keep talking about with Watchmen, like Watchmen ruined comics. It's like, well,
it did, yes.
It's more like its legacy ruined the comics. I mean, it's more the comics themselves were good. It's just that.
How did it ruin comics? I don't get that.
Well,
it's a meme. It's a meme from like a past stream.
Yeah.
Well,
not just some guy.
Well, I'm just saying is that it's not the fault of the comic itself that its legacy and what its meaning was misinterpreted. I mean, it's kind of like the argument like. Under Mayo said like how Halo ruined first-person shooters.
Yeah,
because they're not
really
games that I grew up playing.
Well, with the Watchmen, the end of Watchmen is everyone clamoring together to protect themselves against the big alien threat that was invented. And in Lord of the Rings, it's the start of the story is Gandalf trying to get everyone together because there's a big problem that's going to happen unless we take care of it.
Hence the Fellowship.
Yeah, so it's the same idea. We have to come together and work past our differences of different races and cultures to stop the big bad guy because he's going to kill us all. Like, oh, okay, yeah, good idea. But no, Gandalf wasn't black. Therefore, It's a bad story.
Gandalf was gay instead of black.
Yeah, pick one. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, sure. Which is a whole other can of worms.
He wasn't wearing pink that day, therefore it didn't.
Well, the actor who plays Gandalf is gay, so obviously the character has to be gay.
That didn't even matter. For those who don't know, it didn't. He did. Yeah, no, but I mean, it's like as a refresher, he didn't even come out as gay until after the trilogy wrapped up.
After he got the money, yes.
Yeah, not to mention.
Technically, yes. Technically, you're right.
How about this? If Saruman is the Saruman many colors, how come he isn't like wearing like a rainbow robe that represents gay representation?
How dare you insult the late great Christopher Lee, good sir.
All right. 5 minutes.
He dominated that role. Excuse you.
Let's go.
Careful what
Moving on.
It may come true.
Yep.
Moving on.
Great point. A lot of these people commenting don't even understand one of the main themes of the story they apparently love. Or perhaps they understand it, they just don't care about it. But then they claim to speak for Tolkien. Listen, if you really don't want black people in Lord of the Rings, then just don't watch this new show. Go back into your bubble, watch the original movies, keep being racist in a safe country.
Okay, we're done.
Okay, well, are you implying that the movies are racist now? Holy shit, man.
Yeah, he's just calling people who like the original movies are racist.
Well, yeah, you know that Hassan meme? What a liar. What a Weasley little liar, dude.
Yeah, no, because we like the original films that were as accurate as possible within the confines of Jackson's logistics. Therefore, Tolkien's also racist because he did such a good job. And the people who like the original ones are also, because that's how it comes from. It has to come from the writer. People who watch things aren't automatically the thing they watch. But if you're accusing them of that and you're saying, well, they think it is the thing, then therefore it came from the thing of the thing. I'm going around in circles now. Jeez, Tolkien must be racist, therefore the show must be racist, therefore the fans must be racist. That's his line of thinking here.
So are we really done, or?
He just accused every LOTR fan being racist.
I mean, that's all these nut jobs argument. I mean, are we going to end it off of that, or? Really?
I don't. Do you really want to continue? Like, what are you going to get out of this guy?
No. I mean, we had enough. He's just repeating the same point for like the past 5 minutes.
Do you have any memes? I have no.
Fine.
Yes, we do.
All right. Let me get Discord going.
All right. Yeah.
What's this? Joe Crazy. The Lord of the Rings of Power new series, September 2nd, Prime Video. The Rings of Power. I don't know what this is, but those are a lot of rings. What is going on here? I'd watch that just to see what the hell's going on.
If that were the Rings of Power we were getting, I'd watch it.
I'd be like, wow, that's a lot of rings. Lots of power.
Lots of more power than rings.
Oh, yeah.
You mentioned Quantum Leap, and this was the first thing that had popped in my head.
Who was this?
I'm retarded?
The Beatles. Awesome. I love that show. It's so good. All right. Do you know how the orcs first came into being? They were elves once.
No, yeah.
No, don't do it. Don't do it.
Ouch.
I was there 3,000 years ago.
Oh, I've seen this one.
I was so different black elves and dwarves. What happened to them?
Oh boy. I say that this will be woke garbage. My notifications.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
The usual suspects.
Yeah. From the comic Fool Killer. Okay. That's an awfully racist remark, isn't it, Reverend Flapton? Who the hell are you? And who are you calling a racist? Racism is a tool by which the powerful exploit, exclude, and oppress the powerless. See my skin? I'm powerless. By definition, I can't be racist. By definition, you're a fool.
Bang.
Jeez. South American politics. I don't know what that is. I'm gonna try playing it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. Here we go. This dude's messaging is on the same level as the famed philosopher Rousseau.
Yes, RMX the free
Famed
elves.
philosopher.
I think
Let me
you got it right.
try to say it. If a lot of people loved each other, the world would be a better place to live.
Quote Tom Wiseau.
If a lot of people love each other,
Yeah, you
If
got
a lot of people loved each other, the world would be a better place to live.
yeah, he has that sort of depressed, I'm trying to be cheerful tone to his
A
voice.
Polish man who has studied French.
what
He
is
came to California
stories,
to make
bud?
movies.
Is he
Yeah.
Polish?
Yes.
Yeah, he has some type
somehow people came to that realization.
Yeah, we could never figure out what ethnicity was because his accent is like, what the freaking hell is that? I had no clue.
What Wiseau?
Yeah.
But his family has like
mud.
some kind of company, like Fortune from
Yeah.
Europe,
Yeah.
and that's how he makes movies.
Okay, cool.
Wiseau is at least better than Uwe Ball. I'll say that much.
Yes.
Definitely.
And that is saying something.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, yeah, right. Grudgingly. Okay, last one. Mateus, LTR is based on Anglo-Saxon culture, but producers are lazy. Instead of taking inspiration from African mythos, they just swap characters in European mythos. Really? Huh.
Pretty much.
Well, they do have a lot of freedom to do whatever they like, I think, because it's only 4 poems, but you still have to respect where it's coming from, which would be the same world. And if you're doing a prequel, you have to be very, very careful. So you have to explain how you get from A to B, or from B to A, rather. So, geez, it's a hard task. And if you think people are going to be critical of the movies, wait till they are critical of something with barely any foundation outside of the movies. So
Yeah.
it'll be tough. I don't really care. I'm not a huge Lord of the Rings fan. Maybe when I was a kid I liked it, but not anymore. But
Yeah.
I hope it
So-
works out. I never want to see another TurfNation video again because why would we?
Yeah. Yeah, we're blacklisting this jackass.
Yeah, he's not very good. So,
Yeah, like there's just no substance to him.
yeah,
Like,
it's just the same line over and over saying, "Oh, this is bad because I said so." And you're like, "No, you're not explaining anything. All these fans
Yeah.
are fans for a reason."
Yeah, we're going to. Maybe I should probably try making a suggestion that we could watch, like maybe something else that isn't just racism or politics.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that. In general, I think Sir Axelot recommended something, but he's too busy with his new job to, tell me, let's do it tomorrow at 4:00. We'll do it. But it's all
Just
up to
post in the suggestions.
Yeah, really, just go to the
We
suggestions.
appreciate all of them.
We will do what we can. But yeah, TurfNation is a waste of time. His entire channel is attacking people he disagrees with, and every single one of his videos that I've seen are downvoted. It's sad. It's like you're the guy who's running out into the street to be a performer. Your music sucks. You're not making any money. People are laughing at you. It's like, dude, learn to play music. Learn to argue. Learn to get your facts straight. Learn to address the fans of the thing. Don't attack people. Understand what you're doing. This is not hard. But he's doubling down. Every week he does a video. It's sad. Anyway, I don't want to dunk on this guy anymore. He's just not worth our time. So
Yeah.
and it's near the end of the month. Happy March, guys! In a few days, and hope everyone's getting better.
Yeah, and like in just 2 more days.
Yeah, I get to go out and sit at a bar randomly and not be accosted by everyone around me for
How long has it been?
it's been at least 2 years since the March from 2020, right? So
Okay.
Wow.
All right. Matthias just officially blacklisted him on the Discord.
all right.
Finally.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, my birthday
Won't be missed.
Oh, that's great, man. Happy early birthday.
Happy birthday, McGingaman. I hope you're having a great
I
time.
wouldn't be surprised if people start suggesting shit for me, just for me,
Happy birthday.
just to mess with me.
No. Everyone goes through with it with you, so it's not just your problem. So thank you for the suggestion. TurfNation is a waste of time. I'm sure there are better, at least people with arguments, people that actually have an argument, and they say, we think this because of X. You're like, oh, okay, let's look at that. This guy is just like, you're racist. You're like, what? No. And we've heard this argument about adaptations or sexism and casting and this and that. It's all the same nonsense. It all comes down to lore. Respect the lore. That's all. Respect the fans. That's why these things exist. So anyway, keep the suggestions coming. Keep the voting going. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon. Oh, Jake, you just threw a super chat on there for no reason, but thank you.
Whoop.
I'm very toxic. I want my bearded female dwarf. I would like to see that. Wouldn't you like to see a female bearded dwarf? That if they put that on their poster, a black bearded female dwarf, I'd be like, whoa.
They're not gonna do that.
They're really like they're having their cake and eating it too. Like they're giving the race card and they're putting hair on a woman's face. Like that would be really bold.
Yeah, that's like another thing that I didn't understand. Like, what purpose does a female dwarf serve in the Lord of the Rings? Because it was always like the male ones.
I mean, they are still in the Peter Jackson trilogy, very obviously.
Who?
Really?
The female dwarves.
I didn't know that.
Female dwarf. I haven't seen them.
They
How
are
do
like
you know
in the-
that if you haven't seen the movies?
I mean, I've seen the people bring it up through tweets with screenshots just to, disprove
Okay, but
the
they
Rings of Power.
were never in the focal point of the series that you would.
No, I know that. I know they're like just in the background or some shit, but
I know,
it's like
but like my point is that they were never
It's
having
disprovable.
any prominent roles in the story.
no, I'm not denying that. But all I'm saying is that they are there.
See,
It's not
that's-
like they've never existed before.
That's what I would like to see to get my attention, because you don't see that. I've never seen that in a poster or in like a major production. Like, let's say, take any mythos, take Batman, take a big popular franchise, and throw something I've never seen on a poster. Like, I've not been that confused or intrigued by something. But you put a female bearded woman, I'm like, what is that? I'm going to flip out. I'm going to ask questions, and you'll get the hardcore LOTR guys going, no, that's normal. That's good. The black, we don't know. That's a weird thing. The beard, that's okay. So this is what I talk about, going to a restaurant, and it's a steakhouse, and they don't have steak. They give me pork. I'm like, well, where's the steak? It's like, well, we'll give you a pork mixed with beef. So it's technically steak. It's like, oh, okay. All right. You're giving me what I want, but you're also giving me something new. So you're making me open up to new things. That's what I want out of my media. So if they were to do that in advertising, that would be enough for me to watch it. But
It would definitely get people's attention.
yes, that's the point. That's the point of marketing. And if it doesn't, then I don't care. If you're going to turn people off, that's even worse. That's bad marketing, which is what they did. So sadly, I'm not going to be watching it. But I'm sure one of you guys will, and you'll talk about it and tell me whether we should cover it or talk about it.
Someone's gonna watch it just to prove that
Yeah.
yes, it is as bad as people said.
Yeah, you got it.
Probably someone, but it's gonna drop significantly.
It ain't gonna be any of
after
us.
3 episodes.
Yeah.
Like every other Netflix or Amazon Prime or Disney Plus.
Amazon Prime. Like, let's talk about like that Picard show, the season 2. Like, nobody fucking cares.
Is it starting this month or next month?
Yeah, very soon, I believe.
Oh boy.
I particularly remember because Hawk mentioned it, that there's gonna be a scene in the trailer where Picard and the crew goes back to 2024 LA
Oh.
for some reason.
No.
But
Because
probably because to save production costs.
Because there's, well, I would like to see John Delancey just because it's John Delancey, but I don't know.
Yeah, but even there,
Yeah, my brain is like, nope.
it's still not gonna be enough.
Yeah, there's not enough for me there.
I've seen Kirk.
Anyway,
Fucking Shatner showing up.
oh my
Yeah,
god, no.
Just have Q pull Kirk out of the Nexus for like 5 seconds.
Riding a horse, yeah, that'd be great. Anyway, thank you guys.
Oh no, wait, he's dead.
We'll talk to you soon. Have yourself a great day. Bye bye.
Bye.
Run for your life.